Ladies and gentlemen, we're connected to Tel Aviv, we're connected to Israel, where we will talk with Γκίντεον Λέβι, columnist and author. Γκίντεον Λέβι, thank you for being with me.
Thank you for having me.
So I want to start by asking you why this extreme wave of violence and attacks that were seen in the West Bank. Did something happen and cause it, or there is something broader behind it?
No, it's a development which started on the 7th of October. The settlers saw it as a great opportunity, and it is a great opportunity for them. All the focus is on Gaza, and they went wild in the West Bank, and nobody stopped them. So we reached now a situation in which even the government is embarrassed, and they will continue. Nobody wanted to stop them. But we should look at the settlers, because the settlers are here not playing alone. It's the settlers, the army, the government, and the police. Don't make any separation with them. The army is protecting them and many times even participating in the pogroms, either passively, in all the cases passively, and many times even actively. And the police is not bringing to justice none of them. We have a case of someone who really murdered someone in front of a video camera. We have all the videos. He was arrested, and after a few hours he was released, and he came back to the peasants, to the farmers, to the shepherds, to continue tyrannizing them. So in any case, you have to see it as a whole development. And the idea is to copy Gaza into the West Bank, gasification of the West Bank, when in both places the goal is the same goal. I'm not sure they will succeed, but the goal is ethnic cleansing of the Palestinians, both in Gaza and in the West Bank. That's the big goal. Meanwhile, they do as much as they can.
Donald Trump has stated before the agreement, the agreement that took place, a month and a half ago, that he will not allow Israel to annex the West Bank. Can you understand why Washington is not reacting to what is happening today, to what is happening in the West Bank?
Because it's much more convenient to declare that there will be no annexation. Look, it's all games, it's all lip services. The Saudis don't want annexation. Not that they care about the West Bank, not that they care about the Palestinians, but they have to show they stopped something, they achieved something. So they push pressure on the Americans. The Americans also couldn't care less about the West Bank. So Donald Trump said, you will not annex it. Now the whole thing of annexation is by itself hollow, because the West Bank was annexed long time ago. You have been there, and if you come now, you even will see more than this. The West Bank is part of Israel. It was annexed many years ago. And those legal gains, for me, are not dramatic. Because finally, all the people in the West Bank live under the control and the rule of Israel. Will you call it annexed or not? Israel is the only sovereign in the West Bank. And the army is the only sovereign there. So what will annexation mean? So people say, look, annexation means that there will be never a Palestinian state there. There will be never a Palestinian state there because there are 700,000 settlers there, not because of annexation. Annexation, by the way, can be also reversible. What do you mean? You can annex the West Bank and in 10 years declare that you transfer the West Bank to the hands of a Palestinian state. What's the problem? It's all about really lip services. Everyone plays his role. But finally, the facts on the ground show that we are getting farther and farther and farther from a Palestinian state or from any kind of solution.
Why the Trump plan for Gaza is not working? What are the mistakes? And why these frequent attacks by the IDF after the implementation of the agreement against Palestinians with the presence of foreign observers on the Yellow Line? And it's not just on the yellow line. It's Khan Yunis, it's deeper in Gaza.
So let's, first of all, not call it a plan. It's really not a plan. It's a combination of all kinds of cliches and very vague ideas. It's not a concrete plan, and I say it from the beginning. It cannot work because there's nothing really serious there. No timetable. Nothing is clear about who is going to run Gaza. All kind of, this Council of Peace or whatever he calls it. Who is going to run Gaza? What will be about Hamas? Is there anyone who is going to disarm Hamas? It was again to show an achievement, to bring an end to the war, which I don't underestimate at all. But now it is about really getting into the details.
It's an achievement. I mean, finally, sorry that I interrupt you, but it is not an achievement because Israelis, they got back the hostages. Okay. Palestinians, they managed, even with sporadically attacks, to breathe a bit. I mean, to get some aid from the international organizations and to sleep in the night. I mean, and to move back, some of them to move back to their neighborhoods that they live behind the yellow line. So it's not an achievement, this thing.
It's a huge achievement. I say, don't underestimate. Don't underestimate this achievement. It's a huge achievement. Above all, the genocide stopped. With all the problems, it's a huge achievement. And that's only because of Trump, because Netanyahu would have continued for a long time the war. He had no plans to end it. That by itself is a huge achievement. But it must be followed by some kind of plan for where are we aiming it. And here, it was not serious when it was formulated. And ever since then, weeks and weeks and months are passing. And I don't see any progress. Only talkings and talkings. We need to see soldiers in Gaza, international force in Gaza. I don't see it happening. I hope it's just a question of time, and finally there will be. Look, I want to tell you something. Mm-hmm. It's time that the Palestinians will stop being depending only on Israel, and their fate will depend only on Israel. It's time to internationalize the conflict, and the first step should be in Gaza. And if there will be an international force coming into Gaza, we can also hope for an international force one day in the West Bank. And this is very meaningful. The problem is that those ideas are discussed, but until now, there is no progress on the ground.
I will stay on what you said. It's time to internationalize the Palestinian issue. So the international community is ready to accept such a role.
Sure, but there is a price. You have to send troops. You have to be involved. It's not enough just to say. And now it's the time, because now Donald Trump is pushing for this, and Israel cannot say no. From Israel, it's really, as we say in Hebrew, it's really to swallow a frog. Any international boots on the ground will be for Israel a big, big price to pay in their eyes. But that's exactly the time to do it.
Γκίντεον, the resolution a few days ago of the American plan at the United Nations for the security force to be deployed in Gaza is a positive development. Can such kind of force that the Americans, they have in mind right now, and they're talking about it, impose calm and secure to the citizens of Gaza, and to secure them as well from any violations of the agreement by IDF.
Those are very nice, well-formulated words. I want to see implementation on the ground. And as long as I don't see a progress, I am still skeptical. I hope that it's really only a question of time. I hope. But the Americans are not have a very good record in recent years in really implementing all kinds of ideas. I hope it will work. Yeah, what can I tell you? It was very good, this resolution, but again, it's only words. People in Gaza continue to live in inhuman conditions as we talk. The winter is coming. Not very simple to be in Gaza, to live in a tent when the rain is coming. We saw it last week. Things must also be seen on the ground. And until now, we see, yes, there's more aid coming in. Wonderful. I don't underestimate this either. A friend of mine just called me in Gaza and said they had instant coffee first time after 2 years. I mean, small things which make their life easier and better. But above all, I want to see something moving.
You talked about the Americans before, and we see that, I don't know if they're the majority, but we see a big number, a huge number of American Jews that they're taking distances from the policies of the Israeli government towards the Palestinians, and they are standing with huge critic on the Israeli society as well. They are not reacting to what is going on. Is this something that it's the Israeli society they're concerned about? I mean, they are disturbed. They are talking about that. It's something that they're aware of it or no?
Yes, they are aware of it. It's not only the Jews, it's the Democratic Party in a whole, which was always most supportive to Israel than the Republicans. And there's a big shift, and you saw it now in the elections in New York. This might also expect Israel in the national basis, on the national level. Imagine yourself such mayor will become president maybe one day, or for sure senator, and more senators like him. So yes, it's very concerning, and many Israelis are very concerned by it. But as usual, we don't think how to change it. We just think that it's a force majeure, and that it has to do with the anti-Semitism, which is obviously not true, for sure, not about the Jewish community. Yeah, it's worrying signs, but Israel is still not looking too much for the far. I mean, everyone is still busy with today and tomorrow. And the horizon, even though it's very cloudy, very, very cloudy, people feel that it is cloudy, but they don't do much about it.
They just think about the today and tomorrow. So Israel experienced an attack that had characteristics of extreme violence. I'm talking about the attack of October 7th, which in the eyes of several analysts who follow the Palestinian issue was a result of the occupation and violence that Israel was exerting in Gaza and West Bank. Why does Israeli society today allow what is happening in the West Bank, Gaza, and even in a worse form? How someone can see what is happening and accept it? And I don't know, they don't feel that what is happening in the Palestinian territory, it's not understandable, that it leads to a dead end of a violence and pain for everyone, and this cannot change the life there.
Why
the mothers of the society or not?
Why did the Israeli society not only accept but support almost from wall to wall what Israel had been doing in Gaza? Is this acceptable? Why did we support killing of 1,000 babies, 20,000 children? Why was this totally accepted by Israeli society and almost no opposition to this? Almost nothing. The West Bank is not much different. We must understand that after the 7th of October, most of the Israelis believe that there are no innocent Palestinians and that the only language they understand is the language of violence, and that the only way to prevent another 7th of October is by killing or expelling them. That's the mindset right now in Israel. It is true that the West Bank is somehow closer because many Israelis go and come back, and Israelis are involved. They are not the army, but really gangsters. So many Israelis don't feel comfortable with it. There is a small group, but fairly devoted, we shouldn't forget them, who go and protect the Palestinians. And some of them get injured by the settlers. But altogether, you don't see great demonstrations against what's going on in the West Bank. Because again, killing Palestinians right now is not something that disturbs Israelis too much. Will it be in Gaza or will it be in the West Bank?
After all what happened in the country, why don't the left-wing parties cooperate with the Palestinian parties in the Knesset? I mean, wouldn't create a strong alternative, a counter-proposal to the far-right government that exists today in Israel, Netanyahu, Ben-Gvir, and the rest?
Because they are cowards, because they are not left, because they try to imitate the right-wingers instead of suggesting an alternative. You see, in the United States, after Donald Trump was elected, there was a reaction in the liberal camp in the United States, and the liberal camp became more radical. He didn't try to get to the center and to the right. On the contrary, they are pushing more and more to the left. And therefore, it's this victory of the mayor of New York, and therefore you see more and more progressive figures in the Democratic Party. In Israel, it's exactly the opposite. Because they are cowards, they are afraid to lose their support in the center or in this imaginative center. They are afraid to be, you mustn't say, in Israel today, to be a leftist is not legitimate. If you are a leftist, you are a traitor. And they know that they will lose everything if they will do the smallest step. I just must remind you, I'm sure you know it, that almost all the opposition parties voted against a Palestinian state in the Knesset a few weeks ago. And last week they voted or didn't participate in a horrible vote over a death penalty for Palestinian terrorists. There is no left in Israel right now, and don't expect it to be different. They will try, as traditionally the Zionist left is doing, always to imitate the right-wingers and to show that they are also, in a way, patriots. And finally, when you get to their basic positions, you realize the difference between right and what is called left in Israel is very small. They all support the occupation.
You know, I remember since my very first days in the Middle East, in the West Bank, Gaza, and Israel, that it was a talk of the town that there is no partner on the other side. We don't have a partner to talk. I mean, this was a permanent statement from the Israeli politicians. I mean, the majority of the Israeli politicians. So, is there currently a capable personality on the Palestinian side who could unite and express the Palestinians and could be the partner for a discussion and dialogue with Israelis?
First of all, there is no Israeli partner. There is no Israeli partner right now. Netanyahu for sure not. But I don't see any of the others who voted against it. If you are against a Palestinian state, you are not a partner for anything. Because it's not like they suggest a one-state solution instead. They suggest, Yair Lapid, the head of the opposition, suggested 2 days ago in a TV interview that we should wait 10 years and then start the negotiations. So you understand there is no Israeli partner. But speaking about the Palestinians, you know my answer. My answer is there is right now only one person who maybe can unite the Palestinians and be a real partner for peace. And his name is Marwan Barghouti. And his location is the Israeli jail for the last 20 years. And unfortunately, I'm afraid he will stay there another 20 years because he might be a partner. That's exactly the reason why Israel is not releasing.
So a few more questions. Lebanon and the ongoing IDF attacks in the south. Has Hezbollah really reappeared in the region? All these attacks, it is a part of a plan to keep residents away from the southern border of Lebanon. I mean, from the borders with Israel.
I don't know. I really don't know. But I know one thing. As long as Israel continues to believe that everything can be solved by bombarding, we will not get anywhere. Mm-hmm. And right now, Israel is bombing everywhere. Don't forget, also in Syria, Israel is behaving as it's a sovereign Israeli territory, at least the south part of Syria. What is it? What is it that whenever there is something that Israel doesn't like, the solution is to go and bomb? That's the only language that Israel talks now. And it never led us to anywhere, and it will not lead us. I don't know about Hezbollah. I know there were really serious steps taken in Lebanon toward a change. Maybe a change is impossible there. But this is not a solution again and again to bomb. What? We will go to war with Lebanon every 2-3 years? That's the idea. If Israel will continue like this, we'll never get out of it. Maybe we should think about negotiating with Hezbollah. What's wrong in this? What can happen if we'll sit down and talk to them?
After these 2 years, I mean, of the wars, with the war in Gaza, the situation in the West Bank, the collapse of the Assad regime in Syria, the 12 days war with Iran, and even the Israeli operations inside Iran before that, and I don't know, maybe after. And the role of Saudi Arabia and Qatar. You see the map of Middle East changing, I mean, with the role of Turkey that is trying to be a periphery power and to increase them role in Middle East. You see things that changing in favor maybe for Israel in the short term and questionable how it will be in the long term future, or the situation is more or less as it was in the past?
No, the change is dramatic and it happens right now. Two things are happening. Israel stops to be the only actor or the only regional superpower. This is very clear. Israel is now pushed aside by Donald Trump. Maybe another administration will come and bring Israel back to the picture. But right now, those days that Israel could do whatever it wants and the United States was in Israel's pocket, those days are over. Look at what happened only in the last days. With this reception to MBS, Netanyahu could dream about such a reception. So there are changes. And the second change is that it's very clear that there are new bosses in the Middle East, namely Qatar and Saudi Arabia. They are the strongest players right now. And it might be good for the region, it might be bad for the region. Time will show. Iran is pushed aside. Iran is much weaker right now than it was. I'm not speaking about military, I'm speaking even politically. It was pushed away from Syria. It is pushed away from Lebanon. Things are changing, and Saudi and the Emirates and Qatar are becoming, in a very interesting way, the strongest superpowers, regional superpowers, until now, together with Israel or not against Israel. But who knows how will it develop?
And one, maybe two more questions, personal questions. How is it to be an awarded with Democracy Forum award, and to be a minority inside your country? I mean, to belong to this minority that doesn't afraid to raise up the voice and to criticize what is going on there. And I don't know if this kind of awards are enough to keep you alive and kicking in a country that maybe your voice is not very welcome from the rest of the society.
Panos, it's not enough. You know very well how moved I was really deeply by getting this award, how kind it was, and you were involved in it, if I may say so, and I'm so grateful both to the mayor and to you for this award. I sent the mayor the other day the photo of the award in the center of my living room with the document. I framed it. It's every TV team that comes here now, I'm showing them this. I'm very proud of it. It's really wonderful. But for sure, it's not enough. First of all, because my main goal is to talk to the Israelis, and not to the Greeks, and not to the Americans, and not to the world. First of all, to Israel. I'm Israeli, and I'm writing, first of all, for Israelis. And here it is my worst period ever. I was never so lonely here. Never was I so lonely here. And also very excluded, I must tell you. I stopped being invited to the Israeli TV totally. I used to be twice, 3 times a week in Israeli TV. In the last 2 years, I was maybe twice, and both of them were over 1 year ago. In the last year, I wasn't even one time in any Israeli TV. It's a dramatic change for me personally, but it shows also the media, how it reacts. So it's not easy. I will not hide from you that it's not an easy time. But sure, I continue. I mean, I'll continue as much as I can. I can just tell you one thing. If this government will be re-elected, then I think things will become much harder and maybe impossible. They will not let another term for this government, and voices like me will not be permitted. It's very clear to me.
Have you ever considered to give up and move in somewhere else outside of Israel?
Even not for a moment. Never, and even not for a moment. Even now, no. That's out of the question. Unless I'll be forced to go. Never. I was born here. I'll die here. I'm attached to this place. I never considered. My wife is Swedish, as you know. I could easily move to Sweden. No. No way. It's not an option.
Γκίντεον Λέβι, it was a pleasure once more to talk to you. Thank you very much for joining me.